You're inputting solid as a rock.
Michael, appreciate it. We were just testing some geeky stuff here on the getting ready for the anti-net. We'll see you soon.
That, if you can net log me, that'd be great. Thank you. CAN6BXX.
You got it. Fair deal. Trade a radio check for a login.
CAN6DAL radio check.
Sounds fine without. When I turn my Zoom off, it sounds fine.
Sounds fine without. When I turn my Zoom off, it sounds fine. Sounds
What?
fine without.
Turn your YouTube off.
Turn your YouTube
Oh,
I really hope we caught all that live.
Yeah, we actually are live. It hit 7 and I punched the button.
Sound like you're in a Twilight Zone.
Oh man, good time. What's going on, everyone? Jason here. We're just getting things dialed in. It's only 93 in my shack right now. So we got some fans on. People are jumping into Zoom. Chris is at the mic tonight.
Nick is.
Oh, Nick is at the mic. Sorry, I have the wrong person up.
That's okay.
There we go.
If my mic works, right?
Oh,
I'll bring it on here in just a second.
And who's your assistant, Nick?
My assistant here is Molly. She's helping me keep my hat on straight.
Checking in DMR. If you can squeeze me in.
Excellent.
Okay. All right, we'll
Molly.
get started here. Oh, say hi to Carlos.
Hi, Carlos.
Okay,
you guys ready?
Yep, we're gonna get started here.
Everybody, this is KN6DAL, and I'm tonight's coordinator for the anti-net, and I'd like to take a minute and thank all the owners and supporters of the W6VVR repeater and the Vaca Valley Radio Club for letting us use this repeater for the anti-net. At this time, if there's any priority traffic,
I think his
coming
audio's
out,
a little low.
and moving forward, if there's any priority traffic, you can let us know at any time, and we'll clear the frequency. So we'll take a moment. If there is, come in.
I think you're a little low audio through the repeater, Nick. KM6FAK. That's
Thank you, Jason. How's that now?
a little bit more.
Quick. KN6DAL.
Sounding good.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with everything tonight, but I've got some kinks to work out on the audio side. The 2 Meter Crew is not an actual club. We're just a group of hams that are learning and enjoying all things ham radio. There are no dues or fees to be a 2 Meter Crew member, and for any info, you can log on to 2metercrew.com, or you can visit our Facebook site at 2MC. You can also join us on Discord at 2MC/ham radio TV. And this is an open net. Everyone's welcome. Feel free to join in at any time. The 2 Meter Crew meets every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock on the W6VVR repeater. The frequency is 145.470 with a negative offset of 600 kilohertz and a PL tone of 127.3. We can also be accessed via EchoLink. And for those of you that are watching on Facebook, if you'd like to check in with us tonight, I would definitely encourage you to maybe just jump on your EchoLink app, look up WG5EEK, and you can access us on this anti-net directly through there. We're also reachable on an AllStar node 51094 and through the DMR Talk group 314-9964. The anti-net's also being live streamed on the YouTube channel Ham Radio TV. And just a quick update on Facebook. There's been a lot of activity on it lately, so if you haven't logged into Facebook and checked out our Facebook page, it's 2MC. We're up to 180 members. And then I'm going to pass it over to Jason if he's got anything to update real quick on YouTube. How's that going?
Hey, what's going on, Nick and everyone out there? Jason here, KM6FAK. Hello to everyone in the chat. I am trying to keep one eyeball over there. Yeah, things are good. Facebook is growing. Also wanted to let people know if they are not familiar already, we do have a growing Discord. That's kind of fun. We've been creating different channels from the Pew Pew channel, which is fairly popular, to just getting active, going outside. What's the best ham radio? What's the best antenna? We do enjoy a good troll. But yeah, so tonight, I think he mentioned it, we're going to talk about some apps for ham radio. And take it away, KM6FAK.
All right, and don't go far, Jason, because I'm going to push it back to you here in just a second, too. Normally in this spot, we reserve a little bit of time for DXing reports, anything planned. Obviously, with Field Day coming up, we've got a lot of really exciting stuff going on. And so I want to take a minute to ask if there's anybody that has any questions about Field Day or anything going on. Jason is kind of spearheading the Vacaville area as far as Field Day is concerned, and he could most likely answer any of your questions locally. And if you have any general questions about Field Day or how it works,
I'm a really good Googler, too.
So go ahead. All right, well, if there's no questions, Jason, you want to just give a quick update on just maybe a brief overview on what's going on with Field Day, what people can come to expect, maybe if they're going to show up randomly, when they could expect to be there at a good time, things like that.
Yeah, so, you know, if you're hearing my voice via RF, I'd like to think you're fairly local, and you're definitely welcome to come on out and say hello to our Field Day. That is this Saturday already. We are on the ARRL locator, so we show up there. Also, we're meeting at a private residence, N6VLF. He's good on QRZ if you want to look him up. And yeah, we're heading out there. We're going to monitor social distancing and wear the appropriate PPE, hoping for good weather. There's probably 3/4 of our club not going to be coming out into the field with us, but that's just fine because there is some exemptions. I'm guessing most of you at this point have heard about those, but real quick, if you're part of a club, you can stay at home, operate from home, submit your own logs, and then from there, while you're submitting your log, what you're doing is you're attaching your club call. And I believe there's a handful of loggers out there that have pushed, or I should say, go after an update, and that update will then allow you to enter in a club call. But again, you're submitting your own logs. You're not going to pass it over to the boys that are in the field. And you're able to sit there as a Class D and work other Class Ds. So should be a good time. Really looking forward to it. KM6FAK.
All right, thanks, Jason. And as you mentioned a little bit earlier, the topic tonight's going to be kind of ham radio apps related. So we want to talk a little bit about what apps do you use, and that could be right now. It could be when you first started out. It could be maybe a suggestion for an app for somebody starting out, but different software, phone-based apps, anything that could be useful as far as ham radio. There's all kinds of interesting stuff out there, and we want to hear about it. So we'll start by taking check-ins from everybody, and then we'll kind of move through that list and see what everybody has to say. So before I open it up for check-ins from everybody, I want to take a minute and find out, is there anybody who's new to ham radio or who has just recently gotten their license, like maybe in the last week or 2 weeks? I know that sometimes getting a license can be a little bit challenging, but go ahead and shoot your call sign out here if you just checked in and have never been in with us before.
KM6PNG, James in Vacaville.
All right, James, got you here. How long ago did you get your ticket?
I got my ticket about 2 years ago, and I got that technician ticket, and then I upgraded to general, I think, this January.
Well, that's awesome. Congrats. Is there any other stations out there that have just recently gotten their license? All right. Well, sometimes sometimes people don't really want to speak up right when they first get their radio and get set up, but just know that this is an open net. You can jump in anytime. We're here to answer any questions. If we don't know the answer, we'll try to find it. Then at that point, if we can't find it, we'll typically start making things up. But outside of that, we want to invite everybody and definitely welcome any new amateur radio operators. And so at this time, I'll start taking check-ins from everybody. Anybody coming in RF, digital modes, anything, come with your call sign.
In there, Nick, Jason, the group, Kilo November 6, Bravo, X-ray, Michael from UNOWARE, and on the VVR machine. Good evening. Good job so far.
So far? Oh, I hope I don't blow it.
All right, good evening, Michael. Next check-in.
Kilo November 6, Golf Yankee X-ray, Eric from Sacramento.
VNQ, the one and only Woodland.
November Quebec 6 Oscar.
Yeah, can't wait to talk about tonight's topic.
I think that was a triple.
VNQ.
And this is a quadruple with me talking. I'm not on the radio, though.
Right, we had a four-way double. I don't even know what to call that, but I got Eric was the first person. I missed everybody outside of that, so I don't know what you got there, Chris.
Hey, everybody, we should add one at a time, coming in there. So, yeah, I got KN6 GYX Eric in Sacramento, who failed to note that he is a brand new general this week.
Ooh, congratulations on that, Eric. We'll move on to anybody who isn't Eric that was just trying to check in. Come in one at a time.
Victor Alpha 6, Golf Kilo Tango. My name is Greg, up in Calgary, Alberta.
Hey, Greg, thanks for joining us tonight. Next check-in.
Good evening, everyone in the net. This is Brian, Kilo November 6, Victor November Quebec, the one and only Woodland Kid. And can't wait to start off tonight's topic.
All right, good evening, Brian. And next check-in.
WB6 WYF, Mike in beautiful downtown Vacaville.
All right, thanks for joining us, Mike. Next station.
Whiskey 6 Bravo.
November Quebec 6 Oscar. This is Rick in Fairfield.
All right, I got you, Rick, and go ahead, other station.
Whiskey 6 Bravo Kilo Mike, Bill in Auburn.
Thank you for joining us, Bill. Go ahead, next station.
86 KWV, Bobby Lee, checking in Concord on DMR.
All right, thanks for checking in, Bobby Lee. You sound good there. Next station.
Let's see how our friend Chris is doing.
Kilo Foxtrot 6, Hotel, Dan in Woodland.
Good evening, Dan. Next station.
Chris is doing the log, and that's the log on NetLogger. That's what you see there.
A little room there for any digital modes. Are there any EchoLinks that are trying to get in?
Good evening. This is Marcus in Red Bluff, KG6AEB, Kilo Golf 6 Alpha Echo Bravo.
All right, Marcus, thanks for checking in with us. Next station.
This is Kilo Mike 9 Golf, checking in on EchoLink and watching on YouTube.
All right, and you get a gold star.
Kilo Mike 9 Golf, thanks for checking in.
For not
and next station.
having an echo. As a friendly reminder, mute YouTube if you're going to say hello via AllStar Echo.
Romeo 6, Bravo, Bravo, Quebec. Mike, mobile in Vacaville right now.
Hey, thanks for checking in, Mike. Any stations come now?
KN6 HOF, Paul in Oakley. Thanks for the net.
Good to have you, Paul. Moving on, next station.
Kilo 0, Bravo, Kilo Oscar. This is Brian from Minot, North Dakota.
Holy smokes. We'd say why not Minot in the Air Force.
Thanks for checking in with us tonight, Brian. Next station.
KC7, Alpha Delta Delta. Doug, right here in Vacaville.
All right, good to have you, Doug. And next station, please.
KN6 HTB, also Doug in Vacaville.
All right, I sure hope you got them not mixed up there, Chris, because I'll screw it all up. Thanks, Doug. Next station.
K6YI, Dixon.
K6YI, thanks for checking in. And next station.
WX0EMT, Will in Athens, Tennessee, checking in on EchoLink.
Oh,
All right, well, thanks for checking in.
This guy looks familiar.
Where your location was? I thought you said Tennessee. Was that correct?
Who else we got?
Athens, Tennessee.
I think we got...
Awesome. Thanks for joining
that's
us
Marcus.
tonight. Next station.
Thought it was some musician looking all swag.
AM6ZTH.
Hey, thanks for joining us. I don't know why I don't see your picture up here, but thanks for joining in. Next station.
So what you're seeing, by the way, are pictures people logged into EchoLink. I'll show you.
I'm totally getting sidetracked trying to listen to Jason at the same time.
Oh, do you want me to mute you?
I'll take
Mute
a last
me?
call for any stations that haven't checked in that
I'll
want
mute
to
me.
jump in before we go back through the list on our topic.
I think we should get someone to check in with CW just to throw Nick off and 6CMB.
Ow. I don't even know how to respond to that. Because I don't know CW, because I'm a rookie. But
Let's see how long it takes.
CW.
Nope, I'd be more lost than you.
All right, well, I'm going to roll back through this list, and we'll start seeing what people have to say. So, again, the topic's going to be ham radio apps. It could be anything on your computer. It could be software that you use on a regular basis. It could be something that you just started out with when you first got your license, and now you've moved on to it. I'm going to maybe jump in here and just give you my opinion. Not that it's worth much, but there's a couple apps that I use on a regular basis, and one of them is Repeater Book. I think a lot of people probably are familiar with that. I use it as an app on my phone, and I use it mobile quite a bit. So if I'm just driving around, I'll search to find different repeaters to see if they're active. It's been very useful to me because I'm relatively new back to the Washington area. My location is in Everett, Washington. And so I can just kind of glance through and see what these different repeaters are capable of. Probably my favorite app. The next app that I really like to use is the Ham Band. It's a real simple app. It's just like the ARRL sheet that a lot of people have in their shack, but it's just an app mobile on your mobile phone. And I use that quite a bit just to, see what frequencies are usable and things like that. It's always a good reference to have. And then the most recent app that I have is SOTA Spotter. So I just recently posted a video, some of you may have seen, where me and my kids started hiking and doing a little bit of SOTA activation. And it's been a lot of fun. And I use that SOTA Spotter app to kind of pick out different peaks and research them a little bit, and also find out who's active in the area. So those are kind of my top 3 right now. There's other ones that I've used in the past and stuff like that, but I'm kind of excited to hear what you guys have to say about it. So we'll just kind of start from the top and work our way down and see what people got. So I'll go over here to NetLogger, and the first person up is Chris, N6CMB. What you got for us tonight?
All right, if Jason's got it turned on, maybe I'll do a little screen share.
Yeah, let's see. 1 participant. Can you do it?
Is that too much technology, Jason? What do you think?
It's not letting you. Let me check a few. It says allow participants. Is it saying no go?
Yep, no go.
Okay, try it now. We didn't test screen sharing before the show. We've done it before though, so not sure what's going on there.
In there now.
Ah, okay, it's coming up. Whoa, look at all that. You've been a busy boy.
Here, because these are probably some repeats. And how can I hide this so I can see which website I'm actually at? I'll start with PSK Reporter. This one's pretty cool. I basically today just was only really working for a little while. I put my call sign in, and PSK Reporter shows where my signal was heard around the world. That's what you're seeing on this map. So if you're ever wondering if you're getting out, this one's pretty cool to see what's going on out there. Someone mentioned the band chart. I'm definitely going to check out that app that Nick was talking about. I think that sounds really cool. But you can also just sneak over to ARRL and you can pull up the band chart. I keep it pretty handy normally just to make sure I'm not getting outside of my my privileges.
Comment.
Go ahead.
6VLF checking in late. Won't be around for the rest of the 2-meter crew. Anti-net working on field day as we speak. Anyways, check me in. See you guys Friday. N6VLF.
Thanks for checking in, Kevin.
Appreciate all the work you're doing. There's quite a few of these propagation type things out there. I haven't found one that I really like yet, so I brought up this one, which is prophfradio.org, but if someone has one that maybe they recommend even more, I'd love to hear about it. This is DXL Maps 4.2. It's just DXL Maps or DXMaps.com. You can see live where QSOs are going on around the world. There's a bunch of different settings here where you can like turn on all the bands. I do this sometimes. I'll see sometimes like 10 meters is rocking on the East Coast, and we're getting nothing out there on the West Coast. So that's kind of interesting to check. This is one I've just started checking. I don't know whether I'm really interested in. I'm trying to find things that help, sort of DX spotter type things. So if you're looking to do some DX, this can help you find some stations out there that are kind of live and ready to be hit. That one's called dxsummit.fi. I'm going to hit some real basic stuff too. QRZ.com, I mean, I think everyone knows about it, but just remember there's a lot in here. There's propagation reports, there's a swap meet where you can, buy gear. Of course, we use, some people use the logbook. There's quite a bit on QRZ. I find that I keep it open all the time, and there's a lot of resources that I'm checking out, so it's pretty handy.
And let me break in real quick. With QRZ, they pull from the FCC database, but a lot of times I'll meet someone for the first time on the air, and maybe we'll talk, hey, we'll touch base, etc., and they thought they set up their QRZ page, but I believe you have to go in there and manually allow your email address to be visible after, of course, hovering a mouse view. So, check that out. Make sure your email is viewable to people visiting, logged into QRZ, because that's kind of a bummer. And, of course, always share a picture when you're Chris is scrolling mine. I probably should update mine a little bit. Oh, and my body's floating. But yeah, so check out your QRZ, update it, throw a photo, make sure you can mouse over your email, KM6FAK.
So right here, I just moused over it, and you see Jason's email pops up, so that's pretty handy. I will one of the guys that's here quite frequently, DJ, said that be careful with the ARRL email addresses. Just be sure it's working right. Some of them do have some problems. I had problems with one, so I was missing emails, and I had it up here on my QRZ. I've since updated it to another email address. So whatever you put up there for an email address, make sure it's a good one. Otherwise, people won't be able to reach you. Everyone's probably got a favorite weather app and weather page. I like Dark Sky, especially the apps. I use it on my iPad and my iPhone. It gives really good, weather over the next couple of, literally over minutes and hours. It's got great maps. It's very local and very real time, which is what I like about it. And you may have noticed the news up at the top here that it says Dark Sky has joined Apple. I think that means Apple bought Dark Sky, which is probably a good thing for the app. I'm thinking you get Apple behind you, there's going to be some good stuff happening. So great, for me anyway, a great weather app.
Oh, man, not everyone's going to agree.
Lightningmaps.org. This one's great for when you're out, obviously, in the weather, but also it can really tell a story about what's going on with your propagation. These are lightning strikes you're seeing here. It's lightningmaps.org, lightningmaps.org. And yeah, you can see these live lightning strikes going on around the U.S., and they definitely can affect your signal. Okay, someone was talking about this today that they didn't know their grid square, which is, hey, I didn't know mine for a long time, and so, how do you find it? Well, you can get it off QRZ. There's also levinecentral.com, which will also give you just put in your zip code, and you can see me here. I'm CM97AW is my grid square in Clayton, California. So if you want to know where your grid square is, you can look it up there. If you want to find another one, you can put in another address and figure it out from there as well. I'll finish out with just a couple of digital items here that might be useful to folks. If you're using YSF, Yaesu, the Yaesu system using a Pi-Star, you can go to pistar.uk and you can get a list of the reflectors, the YSF reflectors that are available through your Pi-Star, which is really handy if you want to find out all these different places you can go talk. Along the same lines, there's similar things for DStar, dstarinfo.com, dstarinfo.com. They've got tons of great DStar information up there, including a reflector list here with all the different reflectors that are available. You can look that one up. I'm going to try to move quick because I know I'm taking a long time. All right, two really basic ones. Let me let the break for a second. Okay, don't laugh, but I think two of the most important ones maybe are YouTube. If you go to YouTube and you do a search on just about anything, man, I swear you can find a video on it. Of course, you got to be a little careful that the content is good, but I mean, it's amazing what you can find there now when you need to program a radio or find information. So, you know, use that search box, throw in some words in there, and I use it left and right all the time. I can see this right here is coming up because of my recent search. Set up Icon 7300 on iMac with Rumlog NG. That's something I searched for and watched recently because I need to do it possibly for field day. So it's I know it's basic saying use YouTube is one of the things, but it's really good. And the last one, but certainly not least, is Google. Don't be afraid of the Googles. And so you can see here, I've got what is the best antenna for ham radio all queued up, ready to go. And, you know, Google is your friend, and definitely one of the most handy websites, google.com. All right, I've taken enough time. I'll turn it back over, guys.
All right, thanks, Chris. I'm curious to see if there's any apps left over. That was a mouthful. But yeah, there's quite a few. I wrote most of those down. There's quite a few there that I haven't seen before, or I guess maybe just haven't played with that are pretty interesting. So I'll have to check those out. Jason, KM6FAK, you got any to add?
Yeah, I've always got something to say. Let me drag this down so everybody can kind of... Oh. All right. Sorry if you're on the radio, but this is on YouTube. So, of course, EchoLink. That is definitely a must. Also, I think this is kind of growing quite a bit. Is Discord. Okay? And a lot of people are creating their own channels. So 2 Meter Crew and HRTV have a channel. Of course, Josh with Ham Radio Crash Course, Ham Radio 2.0, and others. I'm just kind of getting started. My feet wet in Discord, but very fun. All right, so Ham Alert. I don't know if you guys heard of Ham Alert. This, you could log in. I'm not currently logged in here. And you can put in a handful of call signs and some other things, and it will let you know. It'll push a notification. And I should say, everything I'm talking about, you can use on a computer or your phone. I'm pretty sure it's cross-platform. So check out Ham Alert. If there's a certain call or a DX you're really looking for, there's a whole lot of things you can set up. Maybe even as we come up to field day, there's a couple calls you really want to talk to, so you can put it in your Ham Alert. Next, I'm going to go with Scanner Radio. Now, this is all over the place as far as what you can listen to. A lot of this feeds from Broadcastify, possibly all of it. But don't forget, a lot of repeaters are out there and linked in digitally, whether it's Echo or AllStar or just using a dongle. So, you know, Scanner Radio can be fun to listen to a repeater, whether it's local or far, maybe while you're at work or doing chores. And I'm going to also go with this one, not necessarily ham radio related. It's called Ultimate Campgrounds. Really nice interface for the computer. They also have apps. The apps do cost money, but my favorite part about this Ultimate Campgrounds as far as an app goes is I can filter and drill down and look for BLM land, Bureau of Land Management. I know that acronym is very popular right now, but I'm talking about Bureau of Land Management. And what's so neat about BLM land is I haven't seen any you got to pay for. It's all free. Sometimes you go down a washboard type dirt, stone, gravel road and your wife wants to kill you. But for the most part, they can be fun. And they'll even list out if there's RV sites and what have you. So, all right. Those are my three. I'm gonna open up the YouTube to a few other I should say, open up the Zoom to a few other YouTubers if they want to jump in and share theirs. And then, of course, like always, here in a little bit, we're going to shut the repeater down, and then we'll hang out in Zoom for a little. So this is KM6FAK.
All right, thanks, Jason. Great info. While those guys are jumping in, I'll give it to Carlos. Carlos is coming in from his remote cabin destination in the middle of the wilderness. What do you have to say for us tonight?
Okay. Hold on, Carlos. Let me unmute you. Yeah, I forgot you're not RF.
Coming in from his
All right, Carlos. So shut off your YouTube because I hear that right now.
Let's see, am I unmuted there?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I did hear the radio.
Okay. Are you getting me?
Hold on, Carlos. Let me unmute you. Yeah, I forgot you're not RF. So you've got a YouTube audio coming into you. All right, Carlos. Let's give him a second to see if he can figure that out. Oh, now I'm trying to hit the unmute button.
All right, I should be better now.
Yeah, you're sounding clean, and go ahead and give your call. You're on the repeater.
Am I there yet?
You're there.
I can't hear you guys.
Can you hear me? Oh, here we go. All right, you can hear me now, Carlos?
Yeah, I think we're operating on different channels there.
We're good to go. You're all lined up.
There's another net here locally that starts their net at 7:30, so completely drowns us out when I'm this far. So I can't be on the radio with the anti-net, unfortunately. No, you guys have covered some new ones. I was actually jotting notes. I do know when I was first starting out, some folks like it, some don't. But when I studied, I went to Ham Test Online, and for me, that program worked really well. A lot of folks feel like these programs are just kind of flashcard, just learn the answers kind of thing. But the Ham Test Online, for me, I could drill down deeper and get the background information and do some studying on different parts as I chose. So I did enjoy that application. And then I think the other one's WebSDR, where I will use the Utah repeater or the local, for me, Half Moon Bay. When I'm out there on HF, I can kind of peel around, see how I'm getting out there, and look for other frequencies that folks are out on. That's probably the two I think I'll add tonight.
Okay, well, thanks, Carlos. Great hearing from you. And what's your call for the repeater?
My call is W6CRP.
Well, there you go. And this is KM6FAK.
All right, thanks for that help with that, Jason. I forgot that you didn't have a radio going, or I would have probably waited and given you a little more time to react. But yeah, so next on the list I've got Scott from Roseville, N6SMH.
Good evening, Net. This is Scott, N6SMH, out of Roseville, Northern California, and I'm just north of Sacramento. And yeah, a few apps. Let's see. I like Solar Ham a lot. I don't know if we talked about that one. Solar Ham's a good one. These are more websites than apps, but yeah, Solar Ham. Space Weather is another one. And then lastly is hamqsl.com, which is a little bit like Space Weather and Solar Ham. Again, that's hamqsl.com. hamqsl.com. I like those three. Those are kind of fun to see, generally how propagation's working, how the sun's working in our favor. Anyways, back to Net.
All right, Scott, thanks for jumping in. Next up, we've got James, KM6PNG.
Okay, remove that.
All right. right, we'll move on to Michael from Carmichael, KN6BXX.
And there, Nick, Jason, and group, KN6BXX here. It's a nice little subject today. Well, I've got a list of apps here. I got a few of them here. One of my favorites, like you, Nick, is Repeater Book. I use both at-home computer and on the road. Well, my mobile phone. Excuse me, comes in handy when I want to program my new radios and helps a lot. And of course, speaking of apps, I use Chirp, of course, for my Radiodity, my newer mobile, plus my Balafang, the famous Balafang. Let me see, QRZ. I've got my account there. You can check me out.
Hey, Jason.
You'll see my photo there.
I'll give other Jason. KM6FAK. Hi, other Jason. I'm going to give him a chance to speak here in a second.
I've got the scanner radio. Got the pro version myself, and most I use it for public services or anything big going on, which of course, need I say more about that these days. Also got a couple things that are not directly ham related, but might be close enough. I have shortwave.info. I use it on the web, but also on my mobile phone through Google search, and it lists frequencies and times of shortwave information. Just look it up. You'll be able to punch in your frequency or whatever else. And of course, WebSDR plus Kiwi SDR. Use that for listening on the shortwave and broadcast, and of course got different ones, and different ones you can look up, include some good local ones around the area too. So again, WebSDR and Kiwi. That's my list, and great program so far, guys, and I'm open to listen to some other suggestions too. So thanks again, Nick and Jason, the rest, KN6BXX. Have a good evening.
Hey, thanks a lot, Michael. Next, I'm going to, looks like just in the Zoom meeting, we've got Jason from Ham Radio 2.0 jumped in. You guys have probably seen some of his videos. He's got a lot of great information on YouTube if you check it out. And if Jason KM6FAK, you want to help him key up there, we can give him a chance. You got any cool apps or anything like that you use on a day-to-day basis?
Okay, Jason there in Texas. Looks like you got a friend. You're on the repeater.
Oh, cool, man. Hey, thanks for having us. Yeah, this is Bob, WT-CYK from RFinder.
Okay.
So, yeah, we use the RFinder app. That's the app that we use. It's a repeater locator, and it programs your radio if you have one, and if you just have the app on your phone, then it shows you what repeaters are close to you via the GPS on your phone.
And this is on Android and Apple?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, both Android and Apple.
And also on the, let's see, where's the camera? On the RFinder B1.
Yeah.
I'm typing it in now. RF Finder, yeah.
RFinder.net.
Yeah, RFINDER.net.
Does it say RF Finder WW?
Yeah, the RFinder Worldwide Repeater Directory. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
And so what makes this better than Repeater Book?
Well, go ahead.
Okay. Well, and you know, it's kind of the same thing as Repeater Book, but as far as it's really kind of built around DMR, and it has better, more accurate DMR information for DMR repeaters than what I have found in Repeater Book recently. So I wouldn't go so far as to say I personally like it better. A lot of it's personal preference.
But really, the cool thing is running it on the radio. This is the only DMR radio that doesn't have a code plug.
Right. It's a fully Android-controlled DMR radio.
Wow.
Along with the smartphone.
Yep. Doesn't need a code plug. And we actually gather all of the talk group time slot information every day. We keep pulling in more. And the radio, whenever it sees a talk group time slot combination on a repeater, it sends it back to the database. So, a lot of the talk group time slots are missing. They're not documented properly. So we're working hard, both passively and actively, to fill in the blank, so to speak.
Well, that's very cool, because yes, I have not plunged down that rabbit hole of DMR, but from what I understand, code plugging can be very challenging. So this sounds like a really neat solution.
Yeah, this has no code plugs ever. It doesn't even have programming software or a cable. It's fully self-contained.
Wow.
Yeah. And no matter where you go on Earth, if I land in Grapevine, today I landed in Dallas, and the radio works here in Dallas, and if I land in London or Paris or Madrid or Tel Aviv, it doesn't matter. It works.
I used it in Costa Rica last fall.
Yeah, cool.
So, yeah.
So So it just works anywhere on Earth. You never have to program it.
And throw out your call so everyone can hear them.
I am W2CYK.
KC5HWB.
All right, we got some DX. I'm letting go on the repeater. KM6FAK.
All right, thanks guys for jumping in on that. Next up, we've got KN6GYX. Eric. All right, how about KD6KWV, Bobby Lee?
Break, N6CMB, break.
Whoa. Floor is yours.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I think we're getting a little crossed up on the RF here. I'm not sure what's going on in the repeater, but you had a question come in. He was speaking, and it feels like, I don't know if anyone else can confirm, it was just listening on the radio, not coming in digital. Are we getting a little crossover from something on the repeater?
I am definitely hearing something on this side in Concord. I haven't switched to the input, but...
Hey, Chris.
There's like another repeater bleeding over somehow or something. I even try to turn up my squelch. It doesn't really kill it till I crank it all the way up.
If you guys can time
on
it,
I can hear it. It's there.
Hey, Carlos wants to share something. Go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah, I can hear that repeater very clearly up where I'm at. It's a Monterey-based net. I believe it's up on Fremont Peak, I heard them say. And it's the Monterey Airs net. It started at 7:30, and that's why I couldn't get on the radio, because they're totally bleeding over up here. So it looks like we have contesting nets going on the 145, 470 right now.
All right. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. So I'm not hearing it here in Vacaville, but I also have my my CT-CSS, which still means they could come in on my squelch tail. But that's interesting.
It's very strong up here.
Yeah. For those of you that are on just RF, have you tried? I know that on your transmit tone, obviously getting into the repeater, that's going to have to be set, but you can also program that same tone for the receive tone. Does that seem to help it at all? Do you know?
For me, yes, but when I let go, there is at times there is stuff there. Although I guess just where I'm sitting in Vacaville, it just isn't that strong. So I mean, everyone could try that. Oh, Mike's got some apps too. Mike, you gonna be on the repeater?
Yeah, this is Mike, WG5EK. If you've got a second, I got a couple apps I can share. I can just talk about them.
Yeah, by all means, you're coming in clean.
There's a double there with Jason. Go ahead, other station.
Yeah, go ahead and take it away, Mike.
A couple of these I've shared in the Discord, so if you guys haven't been in the Discord, please go, because there's a lot of setup for it. But one of the apps I use all the time is called DV Switch Mobile, and it's Android only, unfortunately, for those iPhone users. However, if you set it up properly, you can get into a bunch of digital modes from your phone. So if you wanted to try DMR or YSF or NXDN, and you didn't want to shell out any additional funds, like for a radio or a hotspot or whatever, you can install this app on your phone, and then there's some back-end software that you need to install either on a Raspberry Pi or a Debian-based Linux computer, or if you don't want to do that, you can do a virtual machine. I know it's like, what? A virtual machine? It's like an emulator for a computer, and you can install all that stuff on there, and it allows you to get into, like I said, DMR, YSF, and NXDN without purchasing anything. And if you want to get D-Star and P25, you need to get some kind of like an Amber, like 3000R device. I went with the Thumbstick DV. Works pretty good. It's like $100. And I got another couple more to share, but I'll let the repeater drop real quick. All right, the other one that I like to use is called APRS Droid. A lot of radios, they have built-in APRS, but what APRS is allows you to track and kind of send messages to other hams. It's almost like Google Maps, where they have the map sharing, like, hey, where's my buddy at? And he shares your location with you. This is like the same thing, but it's real time for hams that have it enabled. And you can hook this up. They sell cables. You can hook it up to your radio if you want to do strictly RF, and it'll actually show up on the APRS. There's a couple different websites and to other users, or you can just strictly do it off the internet. And that's kind of what I do. It's just convenient, and you can send messages through there. It's kind of neat. If you're out in the field and you have no cell signal, but you have these cables in your APRS either built into your radio, or you link it this way, you can send a text message, an actual SMS text message to another phone. They don't have to be a ham radio operator. They could just be like your XYL or your buddy or whatever, and it works pretty decently as long as it hits a digit repeater. And there's more you can talk about that, but I'll let you guys research that. APRS Droid for Android, and there's other apps out there for Apple as well. I'm gonna drop it. I got two more to share. All right, somebody mentioned it in the comments, and there is an app called Peanut for Android. You kind of have to register with a website. I think it's a .nl instead of a .com, but you can just Google Peanut for ham radio, and it allows you to get onto a few different select D-Star reflectors, which is kind of cool from your phone. Again, if like you said, you don't want to shell out some money, but they kind of restrict which ones you can go to. It's whatever they support. Which isn't, is not all of them, but it's free. It's out there, Peanut for Android. And then the last one, I've talked about it before. It's called Pocket Receive Transmit, PRXTX, another Android one. It's free. It kind of interfaces with the WebSDR. It has a lot of those on there, so you can listen to some HF stations from your phone. Might be a little easier than going through the website, but you can still go through the website. But it also allows you to have a little bit of rig control with certain radios. I don't have any of the radios that it has, but it's kind of neat that you can control it from your phone over the network, I believe, or maybe even a direct connect if you figure out a way to connect it to your phone through like a USB on-the-go type cable. But those are the apps that I use. I actually use DV Switch Mobile a lot at work because I can check in digitally. I don't have to carry a radio around with me. I can just use my phone. But that's the ones I use. Fun with these and playing around with them, and there's plenty more out there, but that's what I like. Back to you guys. This is WG5EEK.
All right, thanks, Mike. Next up, we've got Dan, KF6HHH.
Good evening, this is Dan, Kilo Foxtrot 6 Hotel in Woodland. I'm not a big app user, but probably the websites that I use the most would be the ARRL. And then we also have the Northern Utah, which I guess is a web SDR for picking up HF and stuff. And probably the app that I use frequently that I just picked up is called Morse Code Reader, or Morse Code Decoder, actually. It's by a company called HotPaw, HOTPAW.com. And, I know MFJ has readers that are like over $100 or over $200, and this was like $10. And if you're trying to learn Morse code and you just can't read fast enough, it's pretty good for the money. So that's about it. KF6HHH.
All right, thanks, Dan. Next up, we got Marcus, KG6AEB. All right, next up is Michael, KR6BBQ.
BBQ, you gotta love that call. He's gonna have a grilling app.
How about KN6HLF.
Hey, this is Paul, KN6HLF in Oakley. I use, I use Chirp for my UV5R. That works really well for squelch settings, which aren't too nice for the newcomer to that. But it works really good setting up local frequencies and emergency response and that type of thing. I also use Repeater Book like everybody else. I'm on EchoLink right now. And one thing that I still refer to, since I am a tech, is an Android app called Ham Radio Exam Tech. It gives you sample tests per category, so you can take your test before you have to go take it. And it can give you different examples as to what you got right, what you got wrong, and you can revisit them. And I really recommend that for studying. You know, as a technician, it worked well. As far as a general and an extra, that's down the road, but those are my 4. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Hey, Josh, I'm going to call on you next, if you can hear me.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep. We're talking about just different apps for ham radio, different things people use, like to use, have used in the past, that kind of thing. So if you wouldn't mind keying him up, Jason, I call him out.
He's on the repeater. What's going on, Josh? This is KM6FAK. Over to you there. Oh, Josh is about to drink. It's all right. This repeater has a long timeout.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. I like the SOTA Goat app a lot for doing SOTA activations. If you're seeing my screen right now, I'm actually showing my iPhone. I also like Ham Log, which is on the iPhone. And there's really a whole host of apps that I use when out in the field. The iPhone's primarily what I use when I'm in the field. I also will second the Kiwi SDR online web SDR software. That was recently kind of introduced to me that you can do direction finding with it. I did a video on it recently, and I found it so much fun to play around with that thing. So that's those are a couple ones that I really like.
I saw that video. That was very cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun to play with. I mean, it's free. Anybody can use it, right? Go do it now.
Sometimes I wish we could do that.
Watch the stream, right? But
yeah. Sometimes I wish we could do that on 2 meters. We got plenty of that around here.
That's easy enough to do with an antenna, though, right? You can kind of figure that out with enough people quickly. So those are my thoughts.
Okay. I thought you were trying to share something there behind you.
Well, I was already sharing my phone. I was showing the apps if someone was interested.
No, very cool.
SOTA Goat app. Oh, is it not doing it right now? Yeah, hold on one second. There we go. All right, SOTA Goat. The cool thing about that, hopefully you're seeing it okay. It might be a little blurry. But you can say basically, find me summits in my area, and it'll give you like nearby summits. So this is just a one pointer that's kind of down the street from me. Or you can go to spots that are active, and those will be all the people that are activating and what mountain they're on. So somebody did W4C WM001, and that's a 10-pointer. And they were on, looks like 2 meter simplex, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this is a really cool app. I recommend it highly if you're interested in doing SOTA. 73 is a ham logging software, which, you know, as you imagine, if you type in a call sign. So I'll do my own here and hit lookup. It'll fill in most of the details for you.
Very handy.
Yeah. So there's lots of cool stuff out there. Oh, is it Morsit? No. It's a CW app that I found recently. Hold on. No, Morse Machine. Have you guys seen this? This is absolutely a highly recommended one if you're working on your CW proficiency. It's basically a game, and it will play the characters with the Koch method and build up character proficiency. And you can even do words with it and all kinds of stuff. And it's quite good. It's really good. Unlike Morse Toad that you kind of level out of it quickly, this can kind of continue with you as you progress.
Yeah, my kids actually like Morse Toad. That's a good one too. We should throw that out there because they find like it's such a simplex or simple game, and it reminds me of the old bit graphic 8-bit. That's what I'm looking for. So very cool.
The problem with Morse code is once you go through it once, it doesn't have a lot of replayability. This, however, it does really well.
All right. Well, I hope everyone's writing this down, but it's okay. Yep. You can always replay it later. All right. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
That was K6NIX. No. What's your call, Josh?
Oh, Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu.
Okay, there we go. And KM6FAK. I just had to unchunk the repeater.
All right, thanks, guys. One more thing related to SOTA. So I'm a fairly new SOTA operator, and
one thing that I found that was really useful with that, it's not as much an app as it is a website, and it's specifically for my area. But I would guess that they have this in other areas for your region. And for mine, it's Pacific Northwest SOTA. And what's really cool about it is there's a lot of people that will go and do a summit, and then they'll write a review about it and talk to you about like how to access it, what different ways to approach the peak and stuff like that, because sometimes that can be confusing. It could be bordering private property, things like that. So if you are getting into SOTA or you're active in SOTA and you're looking for different types of peaks to go to, you might just do a little bit of research and see if there's an application like that for your area that kind of talks to that. So yeah, next up we've got Brian, we've got Paul, KN6HLF.
I think he went.
KN6HLF, I believe you already ran through me, but that's good. Lots of nice stuff here today.
Sorry, I didn't move my cursor. Next up, we've got Brian, KOBKO.
Good evening, everyone. This is Brian, K0VKO, calling in from Minot, North Dakota on my new AllStar Link node. I have to give a shout out to Sean, the ham radio dude on YouTube, W9FFF. He sent this to me as a giveaway from his 500 viewer thing. It uses a Raspberry Pi to set up an AllStar Link node. You download a ham VoIP image and load that onto your Raspberry Pi. So that's kind of one of the apps that I'm looking at there. Another one that I was looking at, since he got me into the Raspberry Pi business, was the Raspberry Pi ham clock. It's just a simple program you can download to the Raspberry Pi and put up a nice clock with.
Oh, we lost you there. He did say he just put his AllStar on the air, right? I remember Mike saying there's a bit of a timer sometimes in there by default. So I wonder if he hit that.
Just cut him right off.
Go ahead, Minot.
Yeah, just wrapping up with the Ham Pi 1.0 from Dave Slaughter, W3DJS. All kinds of ham applications for the Raspberry Pi on that one. And I've just downloaded the image, put it on my Pi, and just getting started with it. Just a ton of good stuff on there. K0BKO. Back to net.
Right, thanks for sharing. And I just saw on the YouTube post the comment about getting skipped, and I think that's Brian with an I, and I don't remember your call sign, but if you're still out there, come on in.
I guess. Good evening, everyone. KN6DNQ. I was part of that quadruple double, I guess. That happened at the beginning and then came back once more. But anywho, for my portable guys out there, I searched up the SOTA app, and I was like, shoot, I'm gonna download that, and I saw that it was $3, and I was like, well, shoot, is there a free one? Because I use iPhone. I'm talking about phone apps, and I found SOTA Finder, which is basically like a SOTA version of Repeater Book. It literally has the same exact layout as Repeater Book, except for Summit. So another app that I think I've never heard anybody mention, it's called Ham Square, 2 words. It takes a second to refresh, and it's a location pinner. So if you're out doing portable work, if you're doing SOTA or POTA, you can download this app, turn on the location on your phone. It'll give you your latitude, your longitude, your accuracy and speed, course, and your grid square. And of course, if you change the locations, you can hit the refresh button. So I've never heard anybody mention it. I once saw it on my grandfather's phone. I was like, well, I forgot the name of it, went back into it. Granted, he is a silent key now, and downloaded it. I'm like, shoot, this app is pretty cool. Granted, I'm stuck doing portable work, so I'll just download that, because I'm one of the guys where I'll just take a drive out, find a clear open spot, and like, if I have the room, I'll set up, throw up my antenna, and just start playing radio. So if I get lost, I'll find out where I am, and that's that. So let the repeater drop. I'm not sure if people are too aware that you can actually download QRZ onto your phone. When you first open it, you're met with just a little search bar, and you can search up a call sign, and it'll bring up their name, their location, their grid square and whatnot, their address, and there's a little globe icon in the bottom right corner of your phone, and if you click that icon, it'll take you to the website version of QRZ. So if you want to use it as your logbook, if you forgot your computer or something, you can always pull it up on your phone that way. And it's really useful, because before I used to do it on pencil and paper, the old school way, and then I found on my phone, which is definitely better than lugging around my old, big old laptop. So it'd be nice if I had a keyboard to go with it, but it still works. So anyway, sorry about the mix-up, and I'll give it back to Net Control, KN6VNQ.
All right, Brian, thanks for jumping in. Yeah, there was a couple apps you had there that I had never heard of before, so good info. Next up, it looks like we've got Charles, KC7ADD.
Contact for Nick.
Go ahead, contact.
Sounds like Bruce.
Hey, Nick and the 2 meter crew. This is Bruce in Vacaville, N6THN. I've got a couple softwares if you could put me on the end of the list.
Got it. I will circle back to you. And then next up, it looks like we've got Doug, KN6HTB.
This is Doug, KN6HTB. One website that I used that I really enjoyed when I was studying for my general was the hamstudy.org. They do have the practice tests. They have some study materials there you can use, and also they will schedule you for remote testing. So I thought that was pretty good. And second, some of these SOTA programs are great. I was wondering if there was one out there, if anybody knows of one for the POTA, Parks on the Air.
That's a good question.
If anybody has any info on that, feel free to jump in. Does anybody know of any apps that are directly related to POTA, Parks on the Air? All right, we're getting a big wah on that one. So we'll circle back and maybe bring that up in the Zoom meeting after the anti-net's over. And if anybody comes up with something, we'll try to share it.
My answer is no. I don't think there is, other than the website. And you know, Mike K at MRD, he never even spots himself. He just wings it. He goes out there, throws up an antenna, and goes to town.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, one thing you can do, probably on both phones, but I'm going to call it an Apple, is if you're there in Safari, as far as the website goes, you can click the kind of share button, the up direction, and then you can say add to home screen. So I don't know. Oh, I have my wrong. I forget my face. Where's my face? My face is here. So yeah, you could, Doug, to your answer, you could take the POTA website and make it as a home screen kind of app, where it's not an app, it's still the website. But in POTA's case, they do have, there's a fancy word, but I'm not a programmer, and the word means, so I have on my phone POTA. I really need to get a screen share thing plugged in. And then from there, when it launches, it just launches right into the website, and their website does handle, and it's green. It does handle mobile pretty good.
There'll be a bookmark located on your homepage.
Yeah, that too. But what you end up making is a app, and all the app does is bring, let's say, your favorite that you made on the website. So that's a kind of a workaround.
Yeah, Jason, I think I doubled with you, so that's great. Appreciate it. KN6HTB.
All right, we had a little bit of a double there. I got you, Chris, and then there was a station with Foxtrot Alpha Alpha. Go ahead again with your call sign.
Yeah, I'm sorry for doubling with you. Yeah, it's Victor Kilo 5 Foxtrot Alpha Alpha Hotel. Tom from Adelaide.
Hey, welcome,
Hey, Tom.
Do you have any useful
He's
apps
on our
or
Discord.
anything that you use related to ham radio?
Yeah, I jumped in because there was a question about POTA apps, and there's an app developed by a lady who is a VK5. She is VK5AYL, and she develops an app called Peaks, and the Aussies and New Zealand also use this app, but I think there's a button for global spots, so yeah, it's called Parks and Peaks, available for Android and iPhone. Back to you there.
Parks.
Awesome, Tom. Thanks for that info.
Peaks.
And Doug, did you catch that? The
I
name
stand
of
corrected.
that
Very
app
good.
was Parks
Let's
and
try that.
Yeah, I got that. Just wrote it down. Thank you very much.
All right, moving on, we've got Will, WX0EMT. All right, next up we've got Justin, KM6ZTH. Okay, looks like we're back to you, Bruce, N6THN. What do you got for us?
Hey, I'm watching on YouTube. Good to see everybody and hear everybody over the radio, too. Bruce in Vacaville. Can I ask a favor of Jason? Jason, do you mind punching in to your search bar up there? This first software I'm going to give you is called HDSDR. Hotel Delta Software Defined Radio. HDSDR. I use it all the time. And if you could, Jason, could you go over to the drop down on screenshots? It's on the top row. Screenshots, right under the word HDSDR. There it is. Now this is what it looks like. It gives you a waterfall spectrum display on the top. All those orange bars are channels. And then stop right there. And then, oh, you went too far. Anyhow, it's got a frequency readout.
Hey, Chris.
Okay. It's hard to do this when I'm just on the radio, but it'll tune basically almost from DC to almost a gigahertz. But let me clue in. To make this work, it's a radio receiver, it's a decoder, it's a spectrum analyzer, and I actually can use it to hunt down spurs and noisy routers and bad power supplies around the house too. Use it as a sniffer. But in conjunction with HDSDR, which is the software, I bought a dongle from Ham Radio Outlet called SDR Play, which is a dongle. But this software will work with lots of $10, $15 USB dongles, and you hook a antenna to it. There it is, SDR Play. Either one of those. There's 3 of them. And thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. And that's your receiver. That's your front end. And then the USB cable goes out into your computer, and then your computer does all the number crunching, graphing, and so forth. I'm going to let it drop. So SDR Play, great piece of software, and most will work with it. And it's terrific. The next piece, Jason, if you wouldn't mind, it's kind of like a cliche, but I'm sure everyone's heard of WSJTX. WSJTX. God, once you try this, I almost got addicted to it. I was kind of poo-pooing it at the beginning, but this is JT8 software, basically. This is JT8. A modulation that you use on HF, and last night I was on WSJTX, the software, controlling my ICOM radio with simply a single USB cable, no other hookup, and I did my CQ, so forth, and with 50 watts on the radio, a ZL3 came back to me. ZL3 is from New Zealand. The distance readout on it gives you some readouts on distance and azimuth and direction and stuff. It's at 10,800 kilometers away. So between Vacaville and New Zealand, we had a real quick QSO exchange, signal reports, set our 73s and so forth. But WSJTX works pretty dang good with an ICOM 7300. And the last one, to log context, let me release and pick it up and again. And the last one I'm going to add to the net is the data logger software, which talks to WSJTX. So you've made a call on WSJTX and you want to log it and submit it to the ARRL in their format. You need a logger. So this one is acceptable by the ARRL. And Jason, if you wouldn't mind punching in November 1, Mike. November 1, Mike, logging software. And it connects up with the JTX transmit receive software. And it kind of makes like a seamless HF. Yeah, that's a picture of it. It kind of makes it logs the guy you're talking to, the time, the frequency, the band, signal reports. All you got to do is push one button to say OK, and it logs it into a Excel type file, which is, what do they call that? A Cerebro file? I can't pronounce it, but anyhow, it's the kind that ARRL accepts for contesting. it's formatted with the right columns and commas and spaces and stuff, where it just takes the time, the date, the call, the signal report, the QTHs of both stations. It puts it on one row and continues. So that's the logging software, and it runs on Windows. N1 mic. It works pretty darn good. And that's my 3 softwares for tonight. N6THN, Bruce in Vacaville. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you. Yeah, that WSJTX is a great app, and in fact, it can be challenging to set up the and get that thing rolling to its peak efficiency. I know that Josh has a video that he posted on a couple of things that you can do to optimize that. You can jump on there if you want to check out Ham Radio Crash Course. He's got some good info on that software. And then also, with that, I didn't hear anybody mention Grid Tracker. Somebody may have, but it's a super cool resource that works in conjunction with WSJTX, and you can visually log and see your different contacts on that. So with that, we have a lot of great info that we got tonight, you guys. I wrote all these down because I was going to recap and go through all of them, but we don't have another hour to do that. So what I will do is ask, does anybody have any questions about any of the apps or the software or any of the programs that came out tonight? Go ahead and come now.
Question,
We'll say-
KN6BXX.
If you're doing WSJTX, go get Grid Tracker.
The last gentleman who was talking about the HD SDR, he says that does work with SDR Play. I've got RSP1A. Question for him, forgot his call sign. How does it perform compared to SDR RSP? Was it SDR Uno? The SDR Uno app that goes with SDR Play. How does it compare in performance?
I can answer that if the other caller doesn't come back.
Oh, okay, SDR Uno. I tried it, and the other one, I just like HD SDR better. I don't know. It's just a personal choice.
I'll get you, Josh.
They all use the same number crunching and sensitivity and everything. And what was the other one that I liked? Was it SDR Bench? Anyhow, there's a lot of SDR software out there. It's just a personal choice of how you like the GUI interface and all that. But your hardware determines the sensitivity. The software determines all the features and how it looks. So there's just my choice. Just a public domain, freeware, HD, SDR. I recommend it. There's probably a lot of other good ones out there too.
To piggyback off that, Josh wanted to share some. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I was going to say the SDR Uno software is fantastic. It is obviously made for the SDR Play devices. There are certain features on, particularly the new one that came out, which is the RSPDX. That one, there are features particularly on the low band, the low frequency side that is only accessible through the SDR Play software. Further, they have software out for the SDR Play that is free that will let you run it as a network analyzer, which is super cool. You put the appropriate kind of stuff. You put the appropriate. Can I do? Where am I supposed to look to do that? This way? Which way am I supposed to look? There it is. To do with that network analyzer, you can test out your radios on the bench basically if you have the appropriate attenuators. So it's very, very nicely done software on the SDR Play Uno side.
Very cool. Unkeying the repeater.
All right, KN6DAL here. Is there anybody else who's got any questions or any other apps they want to throw out there? We did, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, we opened up the Zoom meeting. If you want to go to YouTube, you can see in the comments section. We're going to open that up here in just a second and let whoever wants to come in and chat, you're welcome in. But right before we close the net, is there anybody else that's got anything? All right, with that, I want to say thanks again to the supporters and the owners of the W6VVR repeater. They make all this possible. Thank you, Jason, for streaming it. You do such an awesome job. And Chris for net logging, and for everybody else that's involved behind the scenes to make it happen. You guys are all awesome. We're going to get the Zoom meeting open, and let's see if we can get it cranking tonight. So 7-3s to everybody. I'm going to return the repeater back to normal operation.
Hi, Molly from Bruce.
Hi, Bruce.
All right, guys.
Looking good. I like your hat.
The repeater is lowered. Josh is floating. What's going on? How about, you know what? We haven't heard from Kyle. Kyle, did you fall asleep? Are you? Oh. Looked like you hit your head on that very nice microphone. What's going on over your way, Kyle?
Hey, how are you? You hear me?
I can hear you.
5-9? All right. Yeah, I just thought I'd pop in for another week and say hello. Hope everyone's got some plans for field day. I'm solidifying mine, so gonna go to a buddy's house, and every time that I work field day, like, you know, it's a month out, and I go, okay, I'm excited, right? And then it gets closer and closer and closer, and I get more and more excited for field day. And I hope that if it's anything, I put this in the chat, in Josh's chat, on a channel that we have, but I hope that there are a lot of stations on, and I think there's going to be, because we had Missouri QSO party back in April, and there were a lot of people that we usually have, like about 230 people who enter Missouri QSO, and I think that we had over 400 this year. So hopefully people are quarantining and getting their radios up and running, and hopefully we're going to have a huge field day with a lot of D stations on, and hopefully the all the bands will be jam-packed wall to wall. You know, who knows? We might even be able to force 10 meters open the whole day. So I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be a good time. Every time that I operate field day, you know, I get a little bit more and more excited as it gets closer and closer, and it kind of hit me today whenever I was putting all of my stuff together. I'm excited for it, so hopefully I can work a lot of stations.
Oh yeah. How about Hayden? Hayden, what's going on with you? Is the sun coming up?
No, it's been up for a few hours. It's lunchtime.
Lunchtime, very good.
I joined in on the live stream and saw that it was open up, so I thought I'd chime in and say g'day to everyone.
Good day. Now, what do you guys do this weekend? Is it recognized at all in Australia?
No, we had a winter field day, which was last weekend. So I think we had about, in just the local area, we had 6 or 7 stations go out, and that's everything from 6 meters and above. So we had quite a few. It wasn't very good weather, so I was actually surprised at the participation that we had 6 or 7 in the local area, which was good. But yeah, we have a winter field day, which doesn't seem to coincide with the same days as your field days, but it's pretty close.
Very cool. Well, hey guys, this is just an open forum, so feel free to chime in.
I was going to say really quickly too, this field day is going to be historic in that it's really, unless things get a lot worse, which knock on all the wood, it's going to be the only time really that you can operate as a Class D station and take points from other Class D stations. So it's pretty historic in that sense. So that's an interesting kind of little factoid.
So how does that work, Josh? You take points from other stations.
Yeah, so they break up the different classifications of the operating stations into these classes. A Class A station is like a club call, like a group of people working in the same location. Class D is somebody operating from home off of mains power. Normally, if you're a Class D station, you can't work other Class D stations for points. You can only work the other classes. This year, because of COVID-19, they're going to allow Class D stations to work other Class D stations for points to put in their log. So pretty interesting.
But you can't take points. I think Hayden's question was, you can't take points away from other. stations.
Take no. It's not that kind of a contest.
Give me all your points.
Cool.
Give me all your points. Haha.
Oh, that's cool. Our contests down here are, there could be some room for improvement. I think your contests are much more. There's a lot more variety, and there's a lot more to them. Whereas ours are sort of, the rules are very much the same across different contests, but they're different bands or different times. So
I enjoyed VK Shires. That was a fun contest the other week.
Oh, your video's not up, Tom.
I don't have a video. I'm sorry about that.
That's fine. We'll pretend.
That's an accent that I recognize.
Sounds like your people.
Tom's on our Discord.
Oh.
I'm actually in the Discord as well.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a video with a picture like that.
No.
Oh, I don't see it. I have it.
Hey, do you have a, you said you have a winter field day, which is our summer, right?
Yep.
Do you have a summer field day?
Yeah, so we also have a spring field day and a summer field day. So the winter, spring, and summer field days, they call them the VHF UHF field day. So that's 6 meters and above. Generally HF contests are broken down into different contests. So we have some that are based on, say, we've got the Remembrance Day contest, VK Shires, I think that Tom mentioned, John Moyle Field Day, and they're based off of sort of historical people or contexts. So, Field Day as itself is not sort of a thing that is every band or HF. It's more, we refer to Field Day here as VHF, UHF.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's our field day is pretty much anything goes, right? If it's available as a band, you can work it.
What do you guys use for scoring and logging your contacts?
All of the above.
I use N3FJP.
Yeah.
I use
N1MM.
We have an amateur here in Australia that developed a contest logger which covers all of the contests in Australia. So you can log using this one particular piece of software, and you can upload your logs straight from that.
Oh, cool.
And it's really handy.
Yeah, the deal with our field day is, it's an ARRL sanctioned contest, and it's one of those, it is a contest, but it isn't a contest, right? So the purpose is for you to get out and work stations and test your batteries and test your rig and have clubs participate as a group, and it's a get-together, it's a social event, it's a contest, it's a testing of your equipment. So it's all of the above, in one 24-hour period. But the interesting thing about field day is you don't submit a Cabrillo file. What you do is you go, you can, and it calculates, but there really isn't any log checking. So if you log on paper, what you can do is you can go to the ARL website and just enter in, count how many contacts you made on 80 meters and how many contacts you made on 40 meters and enter it into the field day logging software, and there's your log, or there's your submission. It's not like any other contest where, you submit the Cabrillo file and you wait you still wait 7 months or 8 months or whatnot, and you see your results. But there's no fact checking between, Hayden, I worked you on 80 meters and you logged me, at 1700 and I logged you at 1720. Well, that doesn't match up, so that's a busted call. There's none of that.
Probably the biggest thing is bragging rights. On the December QST, which is the magazine they put out for the league, the ARRL, which remind people, Hayden, what is your league? Do you guys have a countrywide amateur radio program or group?
Yeah, we do. Ours is the Wireless Institute of Australia, so the WIA. So they've been around for, I think it's just over 100 years now. They had their 100th year going back, I think it was 2010, might have been 2015, I can't remember, but they've been around for quite a while. And yeah, all of the contest information for Australia is available on that website. And Kyle mentioned about log checking. That happens with our contests. Our contests go to a contest manager, and he does the log checking, or he puts it into a special system, and that checks to make sure that all of your contacts are valid. And in the result summary, it will tell you if you've had a contact which doesn't match up with whoever you tried to contact.
Yeah, the field day is the one ARRL sanctioned contest where there's no real log checking. I'm sure that we as a club submitted a log many years ago and it didn't have the right information, and they contacted us and said, hey, you need to correct this and resubmit this. It's one of those, hey, why don't you do your best effort again, but any other contest like NAQP or sweepstakes or anything like that, that's a bigger contest, if you mess it up, sorry, you had your one chance. How
do you go with things like the 10-meter contest? Is it a contest, the 10-meter one, 10-meter field day?
Well, there's a 10-meter ARRL contest in December, and that is that an ARRL contest? Yeah, I think that's an ARRL contest. And there's log checking and the whole kit and caboodle. I mean, that's a and they also have contests, that are qualifiers for the WRTC, and I think that might be one of the qualifiers. Don't quote me on that, but there are contests out there that are qualifiers for it's the bigger contest, right? CQ Worldwide, sweepstakes, a bunch of others.
Yeah, the reason I mentioned the 10-meter contest is because I thought it was around November, December, and that's coming into our summer, and there's been quite a few times where I've heard stations on from the United States on the 10-meter contest, and it's a good weekend to try and work you.
Yeah. Jason's going to keep me honest here. I think it's like the second week in December.
Well, I'm kind of messing up here. The screen.
Go to the 12-month calendar.
Yeah. So what I was trying to do is show people on YouTube, but my screens aren't quite. So for people on Zoom, if you don't mind looking over at YouTube, this is a kind of fun website. We were kind of talking about website apps. This is called contestcalendar.com. There's a bunch out there. And so you could click on an 8-dayer. And so here it just kind of gives you a real close. So today is the 24th. And you can just scroll down here and just see how many contests are constantly going on. Where is field day? Right here. Here's field day. And there it shows where it starts up. And you can click the link and you can read more. But let's go to the 12-month. Okay, so what are we looking for, Kyle? What month?
I think December. I think it's like the second weekend in December.
Okay. And yeah, so for people that aren't familiar and need a reason to kind of get out, there is so many contests all the time.
Yeah, there's just like nets. There's always a contest going on somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, look at this list. It's huge. Okay, here we are, December. And we're looking for the league?
The 10-meter. The ARRL 10-meter contest.
Okay, yeah.
Right there.
Oh, right here. So I'll click it. And it's worldwide. That includes you, Hayden.
Yeah.
Yeah, December...
Because do they call it a DX contest? I think they do.
Yeah, December 12th. Yeah, so that's like the second weekend.
Yeah. Well, very cool. All right, let me get this off of you guys. Yeah, the screen share is complicated when you have 4 screens, and you guys get to see it, but then I've got to make sure my OBS is pointing to the right screen. Always fun.
There was a.
Hi, Carlos.
Go ahead. You can say hi to him.
Hi, Carlos.
He's reaching for the button, and he presses it.
Yeah, have to unmute myself there. But hey, Molly, how are you doing this evening? Really good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. I'm doing good. And I also wanted to ask you, did you watch my video on Northwest Ham Shack?
I didn't. I have to go look it up. The last one I saw, was it the one where you guys did the SOTA? And you were the camera person? Did see that one?
That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, that was phenomenal. I was so impressed. It was a video, and I'm watching your talk and make contact, the peak there. And then he turns the camera around, and it was you filming all of that. I was so surprised. That was a great job you did.
Thank you.
You bet, and I like your hat.
Thanks.
Hey Molly, when's the next video? You know, we're a mean crowd. We want more content all the time. So when's the next one coming out?
Maybe like in a couple of weeks, maybe.
Couple weeks, maybe this weekend. Who knows?
Oh,
Maybe on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm.
Whoa, that would be good contesting from a peak.
I'm toying with the idea of just putting a GoPro on my head for the whole weekend from leaving my house. I got a couple 128 gig, SD cards, and I just hope my club will put up with me. You know, because the whole time when you go talk to someone, I like to be social, and then there's this GoPro on my forehead blinking.
And then you can just play the Benny Hill song the whole time as you play the video, right? Like, that's the background.
And I'll just take what I need. You know, I'm just gonna. I don't know. I figure maybe if I'm gonna do field day, I should do it like in a Casey Neistat vlog fashion.
There you go. Do a lot of creative edits, and you need your what's that skateboard that you rides? That
what is the boosted board?
Boosted board. Yeah.
I think maybe we should keep Jason off skateboards for a little while. Keep him healthy.
Oh man, ain't that the truth? And
I totally agree.
And peanut butter whiskey, otherwise known as Screwball, that might be coming.
I could throw that video up if you want to relive it.
No, that's only for your channel, Nick. If people want to see me in my worst form, go check out Nick's channel. See, that's how you drive traffic there, buddy.
Nick, what's your channel name?
Northwest Ham Shack.
Going there right now.
Yeah, and people that aren't familiar, it was that camping trip. I just said, hey, Nick, I'm going camping. We can just do the net via RF, or you can start this YouTube channel you've been talking about for the last few months. And so, I put a little pressure on him, and he came through. He did great.
Oh, he just got another subscriber.
Boom.
Hey, there were a couple of Northwest Ham Shack folks wondering why you weren't broadcasting the anti-net simultaneously tonight. They were asking in the chat room, Nick.
Oh, really? I didn't even. I was so busy. There was so much traffic on the repeater today. I was kind of focused on that. I didn't. I wasn't watching the feed as much as I usually do.
You're blowing up, man.
I mean, I could restream it. It's just that's a little bit of work when you're net controlling it.
Yeah, that would be challenging because you would just set up a fixed screen, and then people have to make a decision. Because I don't think most people have multiple screens. They're putting us on their iPad, maybe talking to us via their phone if they are not locally, and not everyone's crazy like a handful of us in here with a bunch of screens.
I got to tell you guys though, that felt to me like an old original anti-net.
Yeah,
where
that was
multiple people were chiming in and sharing stuff and learning. That's the format we've been trying to get back to get people involved and keying in on the radio. So that worked great, man.
Yeah, people were excited about their apps. That was cool.
Yeah. The cool thing about that is I was just jotting down notes. Look at this.
Yeah.
2.5 pages.
You
of
overachiever.
apps just written down.
I think I did 2 pages worth of them on the first one. I went a little overboard there.
Yeah, no, I think it's fantastic because I was thinking about that before we even went on the air, and I earlier today, and I was like, you know what? There's going to be people of all varieties, brand new operators that are just looking for a direction to go, you know. And then I was thinking about apps that I used or used to use that I don't use anymore, and then maybe apps that there was probably 15 or 20 apps that I didn't even know existed that I'm like excited to check out right now. So hopefully other people took that away and are going to kind of just go and see what they can explore and see what they like in the hobby, So I thought it was pretty cool. And that was all Jason. That was all Jason's idea.
Well, there's only a couple of us out there with ideas. We take turns.
Did you throw the Discord link or whatever out there, invite to everybody tonight? We're going to get a bunch of new folks in Discord, do you think?
Yeah. Well, I actually have a Discord link in the description of the video. I possibly didn't say that. Chris, do you want to share a link? Are you sitting... How many screens do you have, Chris?
40 people watching, 39 people watching.
I don't have it handy. Let me see if I can bring it up on the...
okay.
here.
I can probably do that.
I'm going to join too. I didn't know that you had a Discord.
Yeah, I just saw a few people joining, so a few people found their way there. So that's somehow they're finding their way. But
yeah. It's Kyle. The idea was local traffic. So we started with GroupMe, and a lot of people would call it what?
GroupMe.
What? GroupMe. So this is an app. It's terrible. This is an app that I recently learned a couple years ago, getting involved with my daughter's soccer. And a lot of parents and teams, they have various apps to stay in touch because, it gets messy sharing each other's numbers. And before you know it, husbands and wives of other families will be texting each other. So the idea is GroupMe kind of puts everybody in a kind of a chat room, if you will. So anyways, we tried that for a little, but it's just one after another. And if you don't look at it in a day or two, before you know it, who knows what just happened? It's just like, and so, Josh actually, I didn't know anything about Discord. I'm not much of a gamer. But I learned the Discord is a great tool from Josh, and so I said, okay, let's see if I can transition people over from a GroupMe to a Discord, and I think it's working well. And there's a lot of local people sharing stuff, but we definitely welcome everyone out there if they would like to, come along.
Yeah. It's a way to communicate, right? So if it brings people together and gets them talking about ham radio and everything else, so be it. There's many ways to skin a cat, and that's what I love about this hobby is you could go 10 different ways, and it's 11 different ways that someone else didn't go. And everyone says, everyone's talking on Facebook, they're not getting on the radio. Well, at least they're talking about ham radio, So I think the Discord stuff is great. And I also think that, streaming the stuff on YouTube and Twitch is awesome. And I wish more people did it. I think I'm going to, like you, Jason, I think that I'm going to go to my buddy's house, put up the antenna, stick the. I'm gonna take the streaming computer down here, the big bad boy, and we're gonna set up in a garage, and I'm gonna put a couple of cameras on it. And I'm just gonna hit the go button.
Nice.
And I'm just gonna stream for like 10 hours, 12 hours, and just let it go.
Hope he's got good internet.
He does. He's got 200 down, 20 up. So
Ooh.
I think we'll be good.
I think I only have 12 up.
Yeah, the Charter here is the internet provider, and I can get gig from AT&T. They put fiber in behind my house about 2 years ago, but they wanted $130 a month for it. And I'm like, nope, sorry, I ain't going to pay $130 a month for gig internet, symmetrical, up and down. So that price has come down to $50 a month for the first year, and then it goes up to $75 after the second year. But I run my own network here. I have a Ubiquity network, and I hear rumors that the gig fiber, the box that they give you, you have to use their wireless and you have to use their router. And I'm like, I don't know if I like that. So I have Charter, but Charter just announced and sent a letter to me that they are their DOCSIS 3.0, they're going to supply gig to St. Louis here in the next 6 months. So
it's awesome.
If they're going to give me gig and let me pay the same amount for it, okay. You don't have to twist my arm that much.
Ooh, Norfolk Island contact on FT8 available for those. There are those who might be FT8ing at the same time we're chatting.
I don't know how. I don't know what's going on with the way I have my audio. I can't FT8 because you guys yelled at me last stream because I was sending it over, and the only way that I can, I have to push the audio through, or it won't pick it up. So I need to figure out a way to isolate that.
I don't know if you've had trouble with that, Jason, but when we set Sal up, he gets some weird feedback through the board as well.
Now, Nick, are you getting RF into your board, or are you hearing the actual FT8 noise?
So my on the app or on the software, if I don't have my I'm trying to think, if I don't have my mixer set to push audio from my radio through the mixer to the computer, it won't, or push it out, it won't send a signal or receive a signal.
Are you watching YouTube, Nick?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're Windows 10, aren't you?
Yeah.
So one nice thing, I feel like Windows 10 gives you a little bit more functionality than Apple, because I just kind of came from an Apple, but it is doable.
Humbug.
So you're going to go into sound here in your settings.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to go all the way down to the bottom here where it says advanced sound options, and you're going to grab this guy. And so if you're plugged in with a USB of your 991A, that should show, well, I should say that will show up as a codec. So I could drop this down and see where it says speaker USB audio codec.
Yep.
Okay, so that would point to the USB only. Now, I'm not running WJSTX right now, but if I was, it would show up here as an application, and then I tell it where to go. And so, in other words, I've got several things going on, and I got to, point to different things. And so, unfortunately, Windows will move this around every time you start your computer or what have you, restart, close it. But yeah. I bring this up before I stream. This is one of the steps I do before I get streaming, or if I'm going to use multiple things at once, such as Chris is doing right now. And so you want to see where your audio is going out and where your audio is going in. And I'd like to think you should be able to fix that. Now,
yeah, I think. I didn't even know that this was available.
Yeah.
All of my audio changes I would either make in the mixer or through the actual application.
Okay.
I didn't ever just spotlight it all on one page like that, so I might be able to isolate it. Or maybe I should be focusing on the Zoom meeting and not on making FT8 contacts. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's fine. Let's hear from Brian. Brian, what's going on, man? How the heck is Domino's? Are you guys up in sales still?
Little Caesars.
Oh.
No, not Domino's. But they pay more just to be a delivery boy over there. So one of our guys actually left us. But Sales are about the same. We feel busy because we're scheduling less people to come in because of the virus. So, we'll usually have around 9 people on staff, and then there'll be about 6 of us. And just one person makes a hell of a difference for a whole crew.
I mean, Ryan gave us all the secret recipes the other day on net, or on the.
That's I just feel like that's the tell of times. The Domino's and the Little Caesars, the sales start going through the roof when the economy starts going down. And I also hear working girls get better looking. But anyways, Brian, what are you doing for ham radio this weekend?
Let's see. Saturday, I plan on going to the local community center because they have this big old wide open deserted field that they're not using, and dragging the girlfriend out with me. And we'll take turns calling CQ, hopefully if there's an open frequency on 20. So I'm thinking probably the first hour she'll be calling CQ and I'll be doing the logging, and then we'll switch the next hour and go on until the battery dies, basically. So.
And how much power?
You guys keeping social distancing, Brian, you and the girlfriend?
No promises.
Now, how much power are you going to run?
100 watts out of an 891.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's right. You got that radio. Have you had it out yet?
Yeah, I've taken it out quite a few times, given it a few test runs and exercises, and I think the best feature about the rig is the digital noise reduction. My God, it makes life so much easier.
That is cool.
What? Sorry, I was goofing around. What radio do you have? The 891?
Yeah, I got the 891 along with a Wolf River coil.
Yeah,
antenna.
yeah.
And,
I have one of those radios, and I didn't know anything about the digital noise reduction. And I brought it home like, this thing's broken.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and the reason why I celebrate for Brian is maybe a year ago he decided to get the 818, the Yaesu, which is a fun rig, has a battery, all bands, all modes. But how much power does it do, Brian?
Actually, no, 6.
Yeah, 6 watts if you're plugged into an external battery. So I've been kind of feeling for Brian because it definitely looks like a way cool radio. But man, it's hard to be heard on that much power.
Especially when you're in the middle of the valley.
They're good as an exciter for like a 2.4 gig setup.
There you go.
Yep, that's an option. I was listening to a guy on a net today who was like, like full QRP nut job, right? And he was like, I haven't made a contact over 5 watts in 25 years, and I got 14,000 contacts. And of course, he's talking CW for the most part, but it was great. This guy was like so anti-power, man. Like he was like, "Oh, you don't really need more than 2 watts to go worldwide."
Well, I've only got a 10-watt license, being here in Australia, Foundation call, and I worked St. Lucia the other day on 10 watts, FT8, so I was pretty happy with that one.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
I was talking with Chris from the UK, and he said that his intermediate license only affords him 50 watts RF on HF bands.
Oh.
Yeah, and the English Foundation license is also 10 watts. But yeah, if I upgrade to my standard, I get 100 watts. Is the differences.
Well, come on over to America. We got plenty of room.
I don't know. My friend keeps bullying me to take the FCC license, so maybe I will and jump on a remote station. Maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, $3,000. You can have 1,500 watts.
Yeah, you just mail a flex radio up to Jason, and he'll set it up for you, and off you go.
Yeah. Then
Well,
get a PG amplifier for $8,000. I mean, $7,000 radio, $8,000 amplifier. I mean, might as well just go all in, right?
Now, Kyle, are you running an amp with your Flex remote?
No.
Because that would bring in more complexity, I feel.
Oh yeah, that's like a whole nother level, Jason. That's I have enough. I have enough going on right now.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the people that run, like, yes, you can like if you've got the Elecraft, what is it, the KAP 1500 or 500, you can remote that easily. Obviously, you can remote the PG that is directly with Flex. You can remote. I think they recommend like 2 or 3 other amps, but if you're right, it brings in a whole new level of complexity on. I have this thing in my mind that 100 watts, okay, you're going to touch the antenna when you're transmitting, or you got a balun that's, acting up. You're going to see the SWR, you're going to be like, oh, okay, something's going on. I have this thing in my mind that I just can't get over, that if you're going to pump 1,000 watts into something remote and you don't, you can't see it sparking or arcing outside in the tree, that's a little dangerous,
Were you there? Who was on last night? We were on HF talking with a guy who was talking about there's a Amatron mobile amp that gives you like 500 amps, and he was running 500 amps mobile in his rig, and his tar heel was like shooting flames out as he was driving down the road.
So what is that powered with? The battery, the car battery?
Yeah, car battery. It's 500 amp. It's actually a pretty cool little amp. It looks like Eric up in Sacramento is trying to track one down.
Oh, I guess you could run that. Although our field day, I think we're gonna say isn't that a class? I'm trying to remember all the category classes under 100 watts. I know.
Oh, that'll save me some lumping. Are we not running power? I was going to bring power.
No. So we're running a 1 alpha. So we're going to be on emergency power, battery, generator, windmill, solar, whatever you got. But if you bring an amplifier, you better have a way to power it with one of those means I just mentioned.
I got 2 generators I'm bringing, so I'm
Well, Kyle, are you familiar with the rules? I'm not looking this up right now. Does that move your category or class? I'll have to look.
No, I mean, I don't know. You'd have to look it up, yeah.
So you're going to bring, generators make a lot of RF noise, man. That's one thing I'll caution you. When we went up to Winter Field Day and Jim EE threw his generator on, you could see the hash. People...
Well, no, if you guys are trying to run low power, then I'll come in at 100, and that'll be fine. It saves me bringing that down, and I'll run off the solar and batteries.
You know what? I don't want to rain on your parade, but no one else is going to have more than 100 watts.
Well,
So
that just makes me want to bring it.
I have my little generator that's an inverter, and I think it ran pretty quiet on Winter Field Day.
Oh, okay. Really, Carlos?
Jim's was kind of throwing it out there, but I'll be up there if everything goes right here, and I get my damn work done up here. I should be back home and up there for Saturday. So if you want me to, I can bring that up with me, Chris, and you can try it for a little while.
That's what one of my generators is a little Honda. I'll probably bring that with me anyway, just to have it in case the solar gives out at some point during the day. But I'm happy with simplifying things and running 100 watts. That's cool.
Now, are you battery ready, Chris?
Well, yeah, I'm going to be running off the RV batteries. So the RV's set up with a big solar bank and batteries. I'll be running off that through an inverter, and then if need be, I'll fire up the generator, to top up. But I'm pretty sure it sounds like, in talking to my buddy, the solar on the RV should be able to keep up pretty well for the day.
Nice, that's awesome.
My generator does better whenever it's grounded.
Oh.
Yeah, so I've got I bought a, what is those Honda EU 2000, those red generators.
Yep.
I bought one of those many years ago. Mine's probably, 5 or 6 years old, and was working portable with it, and was like, why is my, I'm like out in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, why is my S meter like an S6? Like the closest transformer to me was like 3 miles. Like, what's going on? And then I walked over to the generator, fooling around with the power cords. I'm like, well, let me just drive a ground rod, a 4-foot ground rod into this thing, right beside it, and connect it up to the generator. Gone.
Really?
All of it gone.
Wow.
And it doesn't take much. A little 4-footer did it, huh?
Yep, 4-footer did it. Dropped my S meter down to S2.
That's a good tip. Yeah.
Yep.
I've got a little 4-footer laying about too. I think I'll just throw it in the box just as a good thing to bring to field day. Someone might need a ground, and it'd be handy to have, right?
Yep.
Might still throw that.
Just ground it
in the truck just in case someone needs it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you could definitely do. You go to Home Depot, Lowe's, pick up an 8-foot rod. I think that's standard 8 or 10, and then cut it to where it makes sense for whatever you're driving or bringing. You know, make sure you can fit it, because 8 feet, I get it, it's tough. But then I'd also recommend, if you got some kind of grinder, you know, 4.5-inch hand grinder or something, grind the tip down, make it nice and sharp. So then wherever you live, you can just stab it in the ground and then leave a good foot out of the ground so you can shake the heck out of it to pull it back up.
Yep. And then also get some.
Leave 8-footers.
What's that, Carlos?
I was just going to say, we'll leave 8-footers pounded all over in Kevin's property when we leave.
Yeah, never mind the mower.
You can have the grounding rods.
Might want to watch the mower next time you mow the field here.
And then just pick up some of those. They're copper things that go over the grounding rod, and then it screws in. You
Little
know,
clamp
and then
kind of
I
thing?
just take. I just took a 14 gauge wire and hooked it up to the generator. And I literally just fanned. It's a stranded wire. Just fanned it out, and I just put it up in there and screw it in, and it's done.
Quiet it right down. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, whenever you guys, I saw your configuration, last week, and you've got all your trailers in a U-shaped, right?
Yeah.
And you got all your antennas, hanging out. Do you guys have any problem with hashing over each other? Do you guys put filters on your radios so you don't get any front end, desensitivity issues?
So I mean, we talked about that, as the weekend came up, but we couldn't get our act together. So that's the whole idea of making sure we're all on different bands. This year, I think we're gonna have almost all the bands covered. So that'll be interesting. Previous years it was the good old 20, 40, 80. This year I definitely want to see some 10, 15. I mean, because I'll put it up on 10 or 15. I figure at the very least I could be running some FT8 while visiting other people, on like 15 or 10 meters. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, not sure yet, other than we've got the band Bs, and we're just going to stay on our own band, and we'll see.
Yeah. That's sometimes an issue whenever we do QSO parties out in the field. Is the CW guys want to run on 40? We're trying to run on 40 a single sideband, and there's other guys running CW, but you can't put a filter. There's not a filter for CW, and there's not a filter for single sideband. They just don't. If they do make those, I haven't seen them. But even with the 20 and 40, you get. The 7300 is a great radio, right? That's the best radio that you can buy for $950 or $900. But if you get a lot of adjacent signals in with that radio, sometimes it can have, I'm not saying it has problems, but you're hearing some stuff in your headphones on what is that, and it's your buddy on 20 meters over there, So it's not a, you're almost in a contest scenario where, you're putting 100 watts in the air, or, 85, 90 watts in the air, and you're in a superstation setup, but you don't have superstation radios and you don't have superstation filters, and you're just trying, you're doing the best you can. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes, we've had, we'll go out to the field and work NAQP, and we won't hear each other at all. And then we'll have days where we're just like, I can't even concentrate on 40 because someone's, blasting me out on 20, So it's, but that's the great thing about field day and these events is you learn something about it, right? and you get out there and you go, oh, well, that didn't work last time. And this is how I think this is why it didn't work. So let's not try that again. Let's try something for next year or the next time you go out into a operating event, you know? So that's why I love our field days, because I take like 10 antennas out and I put them all up, and I'll transmit in one antenna, go, that antenna's crap. I ain't going to put that one up again.
That's what it's all for, right? Is to get out there and experiment, try it in a real life setting, no power, out in the field, and see how it goes.
Well, and the great thing about field day is, the bands are jam packed, but you can really tell, if you're busting a pileup in field day with an antenna, you probably think, oh, it's probably pretty good.
Yep. All right, you guys, I'm going to call it a night, but awesome net, and nice talking with you all. So,
good night, Carlos.
See you later, Carlos.
Take care, Carlos, man. Continue.
All right,
88s.
Big hug.
Well, very cool. How about you, Bill? We haven't heard from you. What kind of things would you like to share?
Yeah, things are going good. Like you, Jason, my ham shack's set up out in my garage. And the way the sun sets here in Auburn, it does a really nice job of preheating it for me. So I have to put a fan out there for the anti-net. And then once that kind of calmed down a little bit, came into the house, got in some air conditioning, grabbed a beverage, and now I'm just kind of enjoying the chatter. Planning on coming down to Fairfield.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw that.
Yeah, so just so I can meet everybody. And then you were talking about on Discord a FTM 400. So I have a pretty good setup in my Jeep.
Ooh.
So I was going to show you what I did there. So in case you go with the 400, you might get some mounting ideas.
And this is a Wrangler?
Yeah, mine's a 19. Is yours a JK, or what model is yours?
Yeah, it's a JK. It's a 2008.
Okay.
Yep.
Check out 67 Designs.
Okay.
They are the ones that built the mount that I use, and I adapted one of their mounting brackets for the FTM 400.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I could show a picture. I'm pretty excited about it. So that's what I did in my 20s. Is I did a whole lot of four-wheeling. I came out here to California with the Air Force, and I bought a Jeep and I bought a motorcycle because I thought I was Tom Cruise. I was in the Air Force. Come to find out, that was the Navy. Anyways, the Jeep thing lasted all through my 20s and into my 30s. And so anyways, I actually for a while was a president of a local club here, of a Jeep club, and it was so much fun. It was, we would wheel them, we would break them, we would fix them. We'd go back out the next couple weeks, camping, and the whole time I was running CB radio. So that was my introduction, and CB radios were hard to get to work, and that's where I witnessed my first ham radio out there on the Rubicon Trail. I'm like, holy crap, I got to figure this out. But anyways, a commuting job, young children. Fast forward about 6 years, I've been Jeepless. So just this past Friday, or was it Saturday? Friday, I went out and I picked up a Wrangler. So let me, if you're watching YouTube, let me drag it here. Here is this is what I do when I'm proud of something. I climb on top. So anyways, it's a 2008, 150,000 miles. It needs some loving. I'm gonna do a full kind of reseal of the engine. But very excited.
I like the color.
Yeah, it's like booger green. It's way cool.
Yeah. Booger green.
Took the doors off the next morning. It did come with doors. Took the kids out for donuts. They loved it. I still got a 6. Actually, she turned 7 this last weekend. 7-year-old in a car seat. But hey, we strap her in. We go enjoy ourselves. So yeah, I'm looking forward to putting some radios in that thing. Even though my wife will give me some eye rolling.
Very cool.
Well, cool guys. I don't I haven't been getting a whole lot of sleep lately, and I think the internet just glitched hard. I just downloaded the ISO for Windows 10. My daughter, for her 7th birthday, she really wanted her own PC. So I just got done building her own PC, but I need to install Windows 10. And if you didn't know, you can get Windows 10 for free from Windows. You just run it for free, and you get a little watermark. Matter of fact, this is Windows 10 for free. So sometimes the watermark shows up to activate Windows, but it does everything you want it to do. I'll pay one day.
I have a good method, but I won't share it live on YouTube.
All right, you want to get me a key? No problem. Yeah, there's definitely ways to get keys out there. There's even companies, which I think is pretty crazy. But it is pretty neat to install Windows 10, especially if you got a computer that's Windows 7 laying around. You want to put Windows 10, you can do that for free. Matter of fact, if it's Windows 7 and you have the legit key, you can definitely just upgrade to Windows 10 for free. And I'm pretty happy with the Windows 10 operating system. Especially getting a PC in your shack. I think another couple of years, everyone's going to have a PC in their shack. I couldn't imagine without one, especially with all these cool digital modes. And, we definitely talked a lot about different things tonight. So build your own. $300-400. You get a very nice PC that you're not going to get a graphics card. But if you're just a regular ham and you're not trying to create a YouTube channel, you're not going to need a graphics card. So just kind of keep that in mind.
You can even get refurbished ones on Amazon that will do your digital modes no problem for $150.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they're running fairly recent chipsets for the CPU?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So we, the club, we bought 2 refurbished HP, the little form factor, the small ones. And actually one is sitting behind me here. You can't see it, but one runs our System Fusion room. And then the other one we use that we connect to our 7300, and we run all of our digital modes on that. So, yeah.
And it's not hard. You get on YouTube. I just started building computers this last December. I previously was with Apple, and we since now are divorced. And so it's a lot of fun. If you're a ham, chances are you like to build stuff. So I would recommend. And what's really cool, let me tell you what else is cool. You buy a part a month, and your lovely bride doesn't really notice what you're doing.
Yes, they do.
Well,
yes, they do.
If you buy... okay, so if I would have bought an Apple, $2, $3, $5,000, she would have noticed. But I just slowly brought some PC parts in, month by month. And they might have been $300-400 a pop, but I got a great machine. It was a lot of fun.
Is your wife subscribed to your channel?
No, she does. She has no idea.
She has no idea you even have.
I could say whatever I could say, honey, I just spent $2,000 last weekend. She would never know.
But does she know that you're in your garage, right, Jason?
In my garage.
So you're sitting there talking into a microphone, into a webcam. Does she ever come into the garage and go, "What in the world are you doing?"
She was out here earlier. I was like, "Hey, come over. Let's say hi to everybody." She knows I got a YouTube channel, and occasionally she'll be like, "Hey, so what's your subscriber count?" I'm like, "Geez, okay, it's whatever." She's like,
well, I just had thought or just images of this double life that you're living.
Yeah, it's like, well, if you got into ham radio in the last handful of years, I want to say the first defense mechanism of your spouse is they think you're talking to imaginary people on the radio, and they just can't put together, what are you doing out there?
What are you talking about? That's what I get.
And because I started this in my early 30s, she was like, why are you talking to a bunch of old men in their underwear out there on the radio?
It's funny. I went the same exact thing happened. I went over to Rob KM6YKX's house, and he's up in Auburn, California. And I go over to his house.
He was sitting in his underwear when you got there, wasn't he?
No, he was fully clothed, which was good. Good for a first date. No, I show up to his house, and his dipole fell down. So what did we do? We started fixing it, right? Well, so we're up on top of his roof fixing his dipole, and his wife shows up, pulls into the garage, and he looks down and he goes, "See, I told you they're real. They're real people."
Yeah, that's great. Actually, so I can think back about a year ago, I got the Yaesu FT-991A, and I told her I plan to get this radio. I saved up for a bit, and I got the radio, and I did kind of an unboxing. And one of her girlfriends up in Washington watched the video, and she said, what did she say? Something like, "Wow, Jason bought a $1,200 or $1,300 radio?" And she said, she texted her. She said, well, "Really? How do you know?" "Well, I just watched this video." And then the wife said, "How much was that radio?" I'm like, $500 on sale? So yeah, there's some snitches out there, but they get stitches.
Network.
Some snitches.
Nah, I would love to share my hobby with my wife, but at the same time, I also feel like it's great that as humans, men, if you will, I wanted to say men, but I want to be more appropriate. As Homo sapiens, we all have our own little getaway or escape, something we're into. The Jeep thing is something we are into together. We share camping and all that. And then before you know it, I'm sliding up my 30-foot buddy pole, and people are walking over. "What's that?" So she puts up with me for the most part, but it's cool that we got different interests. She's in there. She does the what does she do? Macrame. Are you familiar with macrame? She's actually starting to sell some. It's like the string thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Show a little support. You could go in and do a little macrame tonight. I'm just throwing that out there.
Why don't you get your wife to macrame some things so you can hang your radios on it?
Yeah, well, I guess. She makes the little wine bottle holders. Those have been a big success.
Maybe you could come out with a macrame antenna.
See, that's why I'm trying to get the girlfriend to get her license too.
See, I don't know. Do you want that though,
Brian?
Brian?
Ham stuff. She having fun with it, Brian?
She's not a great. She's more of an introvert, and I used to be one, and then I kind of became more and more of an extrovert when I discovered ham radio. I'm gonna have to be one if I want to get into law enforcement. So, plus, if she gets it, it'll help me expand the budget a little bit more.
I don't know.
If she's an introvert, she's already halfway there with ham radio, right?
Right, and I'm trying to tell her, when you work people in HF, and it's the one thing that I always get all the time is, why are you talking to a whole bunch of old redneck guys on the radio? It's like, what do you guys even talk about? I'm telling them on HF, it's not it's not making conversation with people. It's the fact that you even got to contact them today. If you hear somebody in Japan, you're going to be jumping up and down that the bands were that good. And I'm trying to at least get the girlfriend to understand that so she sees what I'm doing, because personally, I don't have a headset to work with my radios. I have to use an external speaker with a big bass radio, and I'll bring in the grandmother or my dad, and they can listen. I'm thinking, see, look, I got some guy in West Virginia. This is how it goes.
Cool, man. You're getting them. You'll convert them. Give them time.
Eventually.
I think it'd be cool for my wife to get her radio license just so that I can send her on a drive to do a signal report for me or something.
That's kind of a young man game. You naturally want to get your partner involved, but I can respect different interests at the same time. Sometimes I feel like that's healthy. I encourage her to go do something so I could do ham radio.
I don't know about the content at this point now. Ham's giving advice on relationships is probably not good content.
It's over the line.
It's like we've crossed some line somewhere.
With their radios involved.
Look, if you want to buy new gear, you tell her you're going to eat $20, $30 a week in lunch. And then you start packing like crazy PBJs and you stick that money in your sock drawer. And in 6 months, you buy your radio.
There you go.
I'll at least try to get her to buy a Baofeng off of Amazon. I'm telling her, like, it's only $20. Like, I have a free upgraded antenna. You can listen to me whenever I'm on 3.3 or whenever I'm doing net control, and you can see how crazy we can get.
All right, guys. I think I'm out of here. It's about 11:30 my time, so.
No, I hear you. The alarm clock keeps going off at 4 a.m. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it, but yeah. I haven't been getting a whole lot of sleep lately.
Yeah, I hear you.
I've been doing a lot of macrame at night.
Pal. Yeah, Nick. Thanks for letting me invade the Zoom, and I'm gonna check out your channel. Thanks for
appreciate it.
Yeah, I actually have a. I will share it. So I've actually put it in the chat. I've got a list of, I think it's up to almost 175 ham radio YouTube channels that I subscribe to. And every time I find a new one, I add it to the list. So what I'll do is I'll drop it in the Discord chat.
Very cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I just put your channel at the bottom of it. So
that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do the same for you, but I'm already subscribed to your channel. I'm already subscribed to like everybody's channel, but I do the same thing when I see them. I just subscribe to them.
Yeah.
It's so important, but thank you so much.
Yeah, not a problem. So anyway, well, guys, I hope to work you at field day. I think I'm going to use my calls. So if you hear me on the air, say hello before the frequency gets taken away from us by another somebody running 3,000 watts.
Yeah, there might be a lot of that this year, actually.
Do either of you guys know what the power limit is in Japan? Because some of those stations, when there's a contest, are just rocking into the West Coast.
Wow. No, I don't.
They've got to have
some of those are up in the mountains with big antennas on big hills.
Okay.
Yeah, Nick, I don't know. I mean, we get a pretty good. Sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm out, guys, because it's 2 p.m. so I've got to make use of the day.
Oh.
So I'll catch you later.
All right, Tom. Thanks for joining us.
Having you, Tom. Thank you.
See ya.
I was gonna say one of my fairly most exciting times a year or two ago is I was in Death Valley, below 200 feet sea level. I was on 100 watts in a wire, and a Japan station came in 9-10 over, sounding great. And he said I sounded great. So, I mean, I think we're just sitting pretty good here on the West Coast. And, that's a great example of even if you're low in elevation, it doesn't really matter much. I should say I was running an inverted V, maybe a 45-degree slope. But, 20 meters. So you just never know. Sometimes you really get a good connection.
Yeah. I think it's probably better where you're at than where I am. I mean, I'm not surrounded, but I mean, there's mountains all around me. Like just to put it in perspective, just in my county, there's like 190 SOTA peaks. And that's not all peaks. That's just like a handful of peaks that have been selected that meet that criteria. But there's a little bit more in the way of things to get through. So like down in California, we could hit repeaters, almost 100 miles away mobile sometimes. And it's really difficult to do that here because of all the geography in the way.
Yeah, our average terrain is no more than 100 or 200 feet. And then we've got a few mountains at 4,000 feet. And then if you head east, it slopes up gradually to 10,000 feet. So, yeah, our average terrain all around here is no more than 100 150
that whole
feet.
Valley is it's like a perfect area for ham radio.
That is one thing that I envy about ham radio. Actually, VHF and UHF ham radio in the Midwest is totally different than in a mountainous region. You know, in California, in Colorado. Whenever I go to Colorado, I try and go to Colorado at least once a year just to camp and hang out, whatnot. There is so many people on Simplex, and the repeaters are active, and it's like they use the repeater system like the telephone, just to, to phone a friend and see what's going on. And they've got weather nets, like, what's the snow up there, what type of snow, what's going on. It is a totally different vibe, and I get the vibe that's kind of what it is in California too. Here in the Midwest, we don't use our repeaters like you guys use. Our people at least in Colorado, use the repeater system. It's more of, and there's rag chewing going on, but there's no conversations on 5.2. Like you could go a whole month and set your radio on 5.2 and not hear a single thing.
Oh wow!
There are repeaters here in St. Louis that I don't think have been keyed up in a month, maybe even 2 months. Or even worse, they're paper repeaters, right? And you can't even find them. And every time I go to Colorado, I go out and I put APRS on and I listen to 5.2, and it's just like it's a totally different world out in a mountainous region with repeater traffic and Simplex 5.2. I mean, there's tons of activity. It's great. I love going out there and just striking up conversations.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear the difference, because 520 I would say is moderately busy down in California. There's traffic from time to time, especially on weekends and stuff. But up here, I live 3 miles from work. I can't make it to work in the morning without hearing somebody talk on 520.
Yeah.
It is literally just banging all day long. And the repeaters around here are honestly kind of dead. There's not a whole lot of traffic. There's a couple of big ones that have a lot of following with clubs and stuff that get a little bit of traffic, but for the most part, it's they're quiet compared to down in Northern California. The repeaters are always active.
Unfortunately, you get some of these guys that put these great networks together, right? And I'll make fun of Carla a little bit, because it is a pretty awesome system, and they did it, for a specific reason. But it's like, yeah, we got all these repeaters connected, and then look how cool it is, and key it up. Just don't talk on it, Don't spend any time talking, please.
Yeah. And none of our repeaters are really linked. We just don't have that system. And you go to, like I said, Colorado, and they got the Colorado Link system. They've got, I remember I was driving down to Ouray, and I was talking on some repeater to some guy, and I said, "Where are you located at?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm 100 miles south of the Grand Canyon." And I'm like, "I'm in Colorado."
Wow, yeah.
And it was, all of those repeaters were just linked, all the way down into the middle of Arizona, and just something that is not, we just don't do here. I'm sure that there's repeater systems that are linked in the Midwest, but it's just something that we just don't. It's not a priority, I guess.
Well, that's pretty interesting.
There's a lot of people, like what Chris was saying. They're really regulatory on some of these linked repeater setups, but they're pretty common around the whole Northwest region. I mean, there's 3 or 4 of them that are linked, whether it be just Washington, just Oregon. Some of them link all the way down from Washington through California. It's really interesting to see how a lot of them are all tied together, but the utility of them for me isn't really there. It's cool to play with, but some of them just get so much traffic, and you have to wait so long for like every repeater to key, and it makes it a little bit more challenging just to have a conversation.
Yeah, because you got to let them all drop, right? And then
Right.
you got to key up, and somebody doesn't let all of the repeaters drop at the same time. or there's a half a second or a 2 second delay to let them all drop, and everyone's keying up, and then you got I hear you. It's So
hey Nick, did you try that YOP repeater that?
I didn't have a chance yet, but I'll try that one in the next couple days and see what happens.
I get in on UHF and I want to try to get in on 1.25. So
okay, yeah, I'll see. It's like 35 miles as a crow flies from me, and I should easily be able to hit it. I mean, I'm running a Comet GP9 I'm about 25 feet right now. I could raise the mast, but I'm really not supposed to have an antenna in my house.
I think that other repeater you were trying to hit across the water the other night that you were just shy of, if you put a little Yagi up too, you could directional into that one.
Yeah, and so that wasn't actually a distance issue. There's something going on with the PL tone on that repeater. What it says on repeater book is got to be wrong, and so I need to go through and figure out what PL tone they have, which I can do. But that one's not that far. I mean, I'm good for 110 miles for the most part anywhere from home. Not the same situation with mobile, but it's
cool.
Yeah.
Well, very good, guys. I think that about does tonight. I do need to hit it, so I'm going to pull the plug. If anyone has any final thoughts, please jump out and let me know. But, I mean, we got field day coming up. I fear I am getting up very early Friday to get ready to get out there. And I'm pretty sure next Wednesday here, we'll probably talk about our field day and what we did and how successful or what our failures were. So thank you everyone for coming out, saying hello. We're here every Wednesday, 7 o'clock. We start off on the repeater, and we'll say 7-3. So if everybody wants to just give the old wave goodbye.
All right, peace, love, and rock and roll,
everybody.
All right,
Later.
guys. Good night. 73.